Hey everyone, Derek here, and welcome to episode 18, the final episode of my 80-day adventure in Japan. It's going to be a long series finale. After switching plans last minute, I make my way to Kawaguchiko with the hopes of catching Mount Fuji on a very clear day. Already, it's a success. From the bus, Fuji is clear as day, no clouds. It is a race against time though, because it's been said that clouds can kind of just come out of nowhere. I got off at Shimoyoshida to get to the Chureito Pagoda and the famous lookout. For some reason, I didn't think climbing all the stairs would be so bad. I was wrong. Regardless though, throughout the climb you get to see glimpses of Fuji, whether it be on a lookout or in between some trees. It's hard to keep your eyes and camera off of it. It was like I was shrouded in disbelief that it was even there, stopping to take pictures every few minutes. Once you reach the Chureito Pagoda, you know you're not that much farther. But it's when you finally go up to the lookout behind it do you get crowds of people. Oh, and of course, the incredible and iconic view of Mount Fuji. The less popular side. I spent almost an hour here. You just don't get tired of the view. It was really hard to leave, but I couldn't be here the whole day. I made my way to Shimoyoshida Station, where Thomas the Tank Engine was the theme, to get to Kawaguchiko Station. It was packed there as well, so the bus lineups were insane. I decided to walk to the ropeway where everyone was clearly going, and then hopped on the bus from there. It was less packed this way for sure. The goal was to get to the other side of the lake to be able to fly my drone. And that I did. I mean, how is this not the most peaceful thing in the world? Where is it? There's... You can't see it. You can't. But when I do this, you can see it. And I'm so glad that I can see it. Yeah, that's very fortunate to get here on a clear day. The clouds are starting to roll in, so that's kind of shitty. They started rolling pretty quickly, actually. But, yeah, pretty sweet. It's a fancy family mart. After taking in all the views, I grabbed some snacks from the fancy family mart, properly made the Pokemon frappe this time, and caught the bus in front of the family mart to make my way back to Kawaguchiko station. I had to get back to Odaiba to get some stuff done, like dropping my luggage off near the Tokyo Skytree. I was gone for like 2 seconds and it changed colors. In the second episode, I mentioned that there's a place called Sagawa that does luggage storage. Yeah, they're awesome. I ditched one of my suitcases there until the end of my trip, then did some shopping around here. There's a Pokemon Center here as well, featuring my favorite Pokemon, Rayquaza. There's also a shiny Mega Rayquaza here as well. I came here in 2019, and they had an exclusive Pikachu at that time, which I did get, but they were completely sold out of it this time. There's also the Kirby Cafe store, which had way more stuff than the Hakata store. They also had a Harry Potter store here. When I got back to Odaiba, I got off at the Tokyo Big Sight station and got myself a closer look at this crazy-shaped building. I managed to get me some Pokemon cards, which were actually in stock, and I got some curry noodles and, of course, a Pocari Sweat to close out the night.
Hello. I just want to show this view off. I am gonna visit. Odaiba's very pretty. It's almost like it's a suburb, but it's not. But it feels so secluded from the rest of Tokyo.
It was an incredible day. Surely nothing could go wrong.
Earthquake. 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 Earthquake.
That was something.
At 4:17 a.m., the signals went out for an earthquake. I was deep into sleep, but the alerts were so loud. It plays at your phone's max volume, regardless of if it's on silent or whatever. I woke up immediately, trying to process what was happening. By the time I read the alert, the earthquake had already begun. It was probably the longest 10 seconds I've ever felt. I'd never experienced an earthquake before, so I guess this trip really was about experiencing Japan to the fullest. It ended up being a 5.3 magnitude earthquake that struck the southern part of Chiba. The anxiety ended up keeping me up for the rest of the night. Was it over? Would there be aftershocks? Was the hotel staff going to check up on me? When I checked out of the hotel hours later and made my way to Shinjuku to get the bus back to Kawaguchiko, all I could think about was the earthquake. But the locals went on about their day as if it was nothing. Nothing was closed, trains weren't delayed, it was business as usual, at least where I was going. I figured they were just super used to it. Anyhow, I ended up on a double-decker bus this time, right up front. I didn't pick this seat, so this was a bit of fortune my way for sure. This time I got off at Fuji-Q Highland station, as it was close to my hotel. You can't smork here though, just saying. Thank you. You have to walk through a gift shop to get into the theme park, and to my surprise there was a huge Eurocamp section. I indulged. They also had some questionable pudding cups that I totally didn't buy. They had a whole Eurocamp section, which I've now purchased a shit ton of Eurocamp stuff, as you can see.
Fuji-Q Highland にご来園いただきありがとうございます。
I walked through the theme park to get to my hotel, but didn't take the time here because I had my heavy-ass backpack and wanted to settle into my hotel.
Alright, I'm in the Hotel MyStays Fuji Onsen Resort. It's a nice big square room. Anyway, the whole point of this room was for the view. So let's have a look at that. Holy shit. Okay, well, I mean, the top of Fuji is covered, but I mean, that's still a pretty insane view. Mount Fuji is there, or it's supposed to be. It's a little shrouded in cloud at the moment. That's okay. I did come to Kawaguchiko yesterday, and I got to see the Chureito Pagoda, which I should be getting tattooed on me very shortly to kind of commemorate this insane trip that I've been on. Yesterday was clear. It was an intense mission, very last minute. Yeah, it was well worth it, which means I can kind of relax today because I'm pretty beat from this week. There was also an earthquake last night in Tokyo, so that woke me up at around 4:17, says my screenshot of the alert. And yeah, that was a new experience for sure. Just hearing the alarm go off and then instantly everything starts shaking. I was still obviously just waking up, so everything just felt insane, but I don't think I could ever forget that experience at this point. Yeah, this is wild. Clouds suck, but I'll do a little time lapse. Maybe we'll get lucky.
I did not get lucky. I went to the konbini to grab a quick lunch, but by the time I got back, it started to pour. This was a shame because I planned to go back to Fuji-Q Highland because entry is free, so you can kind of just walk around, do whatever. Honestly, though, I wasn't too mad about it. I ended up leaving Kawaguchiko without having done much, but it's fine because I was still riding the high from seeing Fuji clear as day, feeling like everything I've done was justified.
Okay, I'm in my second last hotel that I'm staying in this crazy, almost 3-month trip. It's the Tokyu stay, Shinjuku. I stayed in the Ikebukuro location last month, and this was the highlight in Ikebukuro, and they have it again in Shinjuku. I did not know that. I am so stoked. Room is pretty standard. A nice bed, desk, some space between the desk.
I was really craving sushi, so I figured I'd indulge. I went to Sushiro yet again so I can consume another mountain of plates. I thought I'd get adventurous given that I wouldn't necessarily get another chance to, so I ordered some items that I never had before. The first was natto, fermented soybeans. And yeah, here's how that went.
So I'm at Sushiro again. I got natto. So those sticky beans. Never had it before. I'm a little scared to try it. There's a lot of it, by the way. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, here we go. Oh, I'm not eating that. Here's my crab. No.
I also grabbed some crab innards, which is crab brain, liver, pancreas, and more. Literally the innards. It's very strong in flavor. So is this tiramisu thing, but I enjoyed that. I did a little bit of shopping the next day in Shinjuku, then ended up in Akihabara. I picked up the Gen 2 Pokemon games because I just could not resist, and a new camera lens. Shinjuku and Akihabara are both great options for used camera lenses. I'm starting to feel pretty exhausted though. I'll admit it, the 3-day trips and the 4 concerts in 3 days that all happened in the same week, not to mention the non-stop traveling for 2 months before that, yeah, it really took its toll this weekend. I was fatigued beyond repair, and I just really needed to rest. Felt like shit, but no fever. Brought a thermometer even to be sure. See? No sore throat or anything of that nature, but my body just didn't want to move. So much so that I made the tough decision to actually skip out on a concert. It was for my favorite Japanese band, Wasta, which is a shame, but I'm glad I was able to go to their anniversary shows a couple months back. I would have felt very different if this was going to be the only time I get to see them. I actually felt good enough to go by the time the concert rolled around, but because I was getting a tattoo the next day and my body would need to recover from that, I needed to be smart about it. The day of the tattoo, I made my way to Shibuya to Studio Muscat to go see Masa, my artist. He sent me the draft a few days before, and I thought it was great. They were easy to work with and speak English if you were looking for places in Japan to get a tattoo. I chose not to film, didn't even ask, but I took some pics. Very generic Japanese design with Fuji and the Chureito Pagoda and some cherry blossoms. But I couldn't be happier with it, and it really does represent this trip well.
Alright, well, this is my last hotel in Japan on this trip. I got a tattoo yesterday, and yeah, it's Japan. I have to take a taxi here because I can't wear my backpack right now. It's a little too soon, and switching hotels the day after getting a tattoo, it's pretty shit. Pretty nice room, nothing crazy, nice. I don't get a view of Asakusa. Well, I mean, this is Asakusa. I don't get a view of Senso-ji at all, but I'll eventually make my way there. I've never been there yet. All the shops are closed.
I wandered the Senso-ji area at night since it's super busy during the day. I was told that Senso-ji is just as beautiful at night, and yeah, it's so true. It was actually really cool to walk Nakamise-dori, which is the shopping street, with very few people, even if pretty much everything was closed. The main temple, the gates, and the pagoda are beautifully lit up. I wandered the shopping streets nearby on the walk back to my hotel.
This Don Quixote goes hard.
Alright, let's giant food.
The next day I made it a point to visit the last Pokemon Center I was missing, which is Pokemon Center Tokyo DX. I'd been here in 2019, so there wasn't as much urgency to see it, but in a way I'm glad it was the last one I went to. It's got the history of the Pokemon video games on display as you walk in. It's awesome. It's also got its own plushie room, essentially in the center. If you haven't figured it out by now, more than 50% of every Pokemon Center has been plushies. There's also a Pokemon Café at this location that I actually ate at in 2019 as well. And yeah, this means that I went to every single Pokemon Center in Japan. All 16 established locations, plus the one temporary Pokemon Center in Tokushima. This day was interesting and eventful, but I'll talk more about it later. It ended with a concert. I went to go see Masayuki Suzuki, who is the singer for the Kaguya anime openings. He did a whole Kaguya section in a set, and it was awesome. Kaguya Love is War is one of my favorite animes, so it was so cool to see. This is where things start to wind down, and I start going to and doing things for the last time. I ventured around Asakusa, where it was the start of the 3-day festival Sanja Matsuri, and grabbed some ramen for lunch. This was the last time I had ramen. Unfortunately, as I left the ramen shop, it started to pour, so I went back to my hotel.
Yeah. Not how I wanted to spend my last few days here. I don't think you can see how it is outside, but yeah, it's not great.
At night, I went to Yakiniku Lake for the last time. I will remember this place very fondly. Also, every building and store had a lantern out front to celebrate the festival. I thought that was really cool. The next day, Sanja Matsuri was really taking off, and you can see the locals carrying their mikoshi, or portable shrines, from Senso-ji and out through the Kaminariman gate. They then walk it along the streets while they chant and hit their drums. If I didn't know about this, I probably would have thought they were throwing a parade because they knew I was going to be leaving Japan soon. Just kidding. It was really awesome to experience something like this before I left. But yeah, later in the day, I made it to Tokyo Station and hung out there for a bit. Then wandered around Akihabara, had some Moss Burger for the last time, went to a bunch of my favorite nerd stores for the last time. I even got to check out a Yuru Camp pop-up shop, which I had no idea was going on. I was hungry when I got back, so I ate some grocery store okonomiyaki. It's my last time having okonomiyaki.
Well, this is it. It's my last full day. So it'll be one more night here in this hotel, and I check out, and then I head to Narita Airport and catch my flight back to Canada. I definitely kind of weaned off of the vlogging the last few weeks for sure, mostly because I wasn't doing anything too crazy. I wasn't really feeling 100%. I didn't feel like busting the camera out. I did a bunch of cool things kind of, the last few days. I got a tattoo. I had a photo shoot with a Japanese idol. And yeah, I don't know, I did a whole bunch of cool stuff. Went to a concert even. The photo shoot was actually an Unreal experience, which I didn't talk about. So basically how it works, there's like 6 people in your group. Everyone has about 50 seconds to take some photos and chat with the model, and then you just constantly rotate out, and we had 3 different sets, so like 20 minutes at each set. The models are Japanese idols, so a lot of the guys that are there, they're fans of whoever these idols are. I don't listen to their music. Time slots were free, so I was like, yeah, screw it, let's do it. Let's try this out. And so I did that, and it was awesome. And she knew I spoke English, and we were doing our best to communicate with each other, and it was a lot of fun. So I got a lot of good pictures, and we're not allowed to post them on the internet.
I'm gonna show some here anyway because I highly doubt anyone will watch this. They sell this service as photography practice. It was indeed good practice.
Yeah, I don't want to rant on too long, but it's my last day. It's surreal. It feels like I've done so much, but it feels like I've done nothing. Like it doesn't feel like any of this happened, which obviously that's not true, because my bank account will tell me otherwise, but it's cool that there's a lot to look forward to when I get back. That was one of the things that I was worried about when this trip was ending, was that I would have nothing to look forward to other than opening all the packages that I either sent to myself from Japan or pre-ordered and things like that. So
I won some Bochi plushies from the claw machines at an arcade in Asakusa. Felt like this was the best way to send off the arcades in Japan. I decided to cross the bridge here to get away from the festival crowds towards the Asahi building. I saw the crazy looking ship or vessel that takes you from Odaiba to Asakusa, and I knew exactly where I'd have my last meal, Sushiro. It was all coming full circle here. My last meal was the same as my first. I had a bunch of my favorites, and to finish it off, I had the same strawberry parfait that I had the night I landed in Japan.
love it. I will miss it very much.
After this, I couldn't help but go to Akihabara one last time. It's my favorite area of Tokyo without a doubt. I did one last walk down the streets and grabbed some Mr. Donuts. Specifically these mochi donuts, or pondering as they're called, one last time. I grabbed more snacks to end the night, some famichiki, a pizza bun, and my favorite ice cream. Before I headed to the airport, I grabbed one last tuna mayo onigiri and an ion water Pocari Sweat that made it home with me. I made sure to have my fill of all my favorite Japanese snacks before I got on that plane ride home. But yeah, thank you for watching. I wanted to include a clip at the end here of me at the time of finishing editing this series. For me, making these videos was part of the entire journey, if you will, even though it was mostly me just sitting on my ass and staring at a screen. I learned a lot from this process, and it wasn't easy. You know, it took a lot longer than anticipated, and it was while I was working 9 to 5, playing in 2 bands, performing gigs, holidays, injuries, and so on. But nonetheless, I'm very proud of these videos, and I very much look forward to being able to watch these in the future once I have the heart to look back on probably what was the best thing I've ever done in my entire life. It's crazy to think that at the time of recording this video that it's been almost a year since I landed in Japan for the start of this trip. But yeah, thank you to anyone who's watched. There are some things that I had to cut from my itinerary that I didn't end up doing, so if I do get a chance to go to Japan again, maybe I'll make more vlogs, who can say? I don't know. Some neat things that I wanted to total up at the end. I stepped foot in 42 different cities. I stayed in 34 different hotels. I went on 38 Shinkansen rides. According to my phone, I took a total of 1,076,076 steps. I'm sure it's actually higher given that I didn't always, have my phone or watch on me. I visited 17 Pokémon centers, including the temporary one in Tokushima, saw 14 Pokelids, and these were the counters that were showing up on the corner there. And I ended up with 9 different Pikachu plushies. I went to 18 concerts, 7 of them were festival dates.
I saw 32 bands or artists for the very first time, which is, you know, actually super rare for me because I go to a lot of concerts here. Most of them were Japanese bands, if not all of them, which makes sense because they don't come here, or they don't come here very often. And yeah, if you manage to watch every video from start to finish, then that's this many minutes of me that you watched. So thank you for that. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. I guess it's back to drums for me. I guess roll the credits and montage or whatever. Kanpai.
To walk down because the roadway stopped.
Oh, bro, these guys.
So what's going on, bro?
Cheers.
Happy birthday to me, I guess. Gyoza.
It's kind of like a dry
Seasoning. Fuck.
I'm dumb. Where's the lid?